Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Black Man Media. It's your boy Black. Today's video, we are going to talk about Season 7, Episode 2 of Ready to Love. This episode starts off with them having lunch. DeMarco says he's feeling Corvea. Blake is doing some damage control, but here's the thing with Blake. I think he spent a little too much time with Z and not really getting around to meeting other women, talking and building those relationships, and that may come back to bite him. You know, he didn't have anything to worry about this week because the men weren't being eliminated. But next week is when he really wanted to put that more work in. So I don't know about Blake. But I did notice that Blue said that he has a cat. Nothing against cats, but a single man owning a cat on purpose is something wrong with it. Don't get that. Don't get that at all. Yeah, Marcia saying that she likes monkeys, but she's afraid of them. So I was trying to understand what was going on there. But all in all, to start off was just to start off. It really starts to get interesting at this point. So Tummy drops a bombshell, lets everybody know that there are 4 more people that's about to join them, right? I knew something had to be up because we went from 16 and it's always been 20. So that makes sense. So he invites the first 2 up, which is Jonique and Cynthia. Then he invites up Fabrice and Mark Anthony. Okay. I understand the name Fabrice does sound like Febreze. He's a fashion designer. You know, that's, okay. I don't know how ladies feel about that. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, or if it's a red flag. I don't really know. But I will tell you this. Mark Anthony, the way he walked in, it was something about his walk that just threw me off. I don't know if you guys caught that. Did you catch that? The way he walked in, it was very awkward. It was very corny, very something. And it makes sense that he may not have the best walk in the world. But they say, ladies, they say you can tell a lot about a man by the way he walks. I don't know if that's true or not. It's not really the side of the coin that I'm on, but you guys let me know in the comments if you saw how he was walking. It felt a little corny to me, seemed a little corny to me. But anyway, Andre, I'm trying to figure out, bruh, what's going on with this hair again? I'm just lost. I'm gonna leave him alone with the hair. He's gonna have a different hairstyle every week. I think I know that now. I think we all know that now. So just be prepared for next week's hairstyle from Andre. Okay, now when Jonique started talking, she gave this very strong energy. I really don't want to say masculine energy, but it was a very strong boss lady like energy she was giving, much like Charisse from last season. You know, and to me, that's just not the way to go. Like, you can be a boss, you can be excited that you're a boss, ladies. You can be very successful in what you do. However, when it comes to a relationship, that's not really what our focus is on. We're not really focused on your successes, just the fact that you're able to be self-sufficient. That's what we care about as men. Are you self-sufficient? Yes. Okay, cool. We can move forward. If you're not, then that's a problem. But kudos to her and her success. But that success kind of gets into the way of the relationship and getting to know you aspect, because you want to show us your accolades, and you're not telling us your accolades like in a relationship. What makes you a great woman? What makes you really cool? We want to see that come out in conversations. So that piece is missing from Jonique from where I can see right now. And it possibly be the same that it's missing further on, but we'll see. So Corvea starts talking with Mark Anthony, and she was talking about being spoiled. And then she mentioned finances, right? So why is she bringing up finances so soon? And Corvea just giving off this vibe as if she wants to be taken care of. And that's a very needy position to be in. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care how nice your body is, what kind of personality you have. That right there, that statement gives off a very needy vibe. Like you were saying, you can do all these things for yourself, but you'll much prefer for someone else to spend their own money. You know, so to me, it's giving off, like Mark Anthony said, kind of like a gold digger vibe. But it's either that or she just wants someone to, you know, cater to her, do things she wants to have done. And she just said herself later on, she said she's a bombshell, she's a knockout, she's this, she's that. But you have to have more than that to give, ladies. We can look at you and see that you're the most beautiful person in the world, and that's cool, but you have to be able to offer more than just your looks. Anything can happen and looks can change. So what else am I going to want to hold on to that's going to make me want to stay with you if those looks do change? So you have to have more. Then Zoe she's meeting up with the guys and she's more interested in why she was eliminated more so than trying to build a connection. We've seen this happen in season after season. When you're on the chopping block, the last thing you want to do is go back and ask people, why did they vote you down? Who voted me down? What do I need to change about myself? It gives off a vibe of uncertainty within self, and it's not attractive. So Z was really barking the wrong tree from the start of this episode. So we all know what happened there. Okay, so up next, we saw a very weird, strange interaction between Andre and Jeffrey. Andre tells Jeffrey of his own free will that, hey, when I'm around you, we're around each other, my eyes is only on you. Then in comes Cynthia, and what happens? He repositions his whole body to make sure he accommodates her and Jeffrey. That's not the behavior of a man who says he only sees you. Now, a man who only sees you would have kept the conversation going with you, and then having Cynthia feel like she's a third wheel. And then Cynthia would have got up and left. But I understand it's a game that needs to be played. But in this situation, for it to happen immediately after he says what he said, Jeffrey should definitely take heed to that. And the fact that Jeffrey got up and left the conversation to allow them to speak was, I don't think that was a good idea. You know, I'm not going to let anyone come into my conversation, to my space where I'm having a conversation with a young lady and then make me leave. That's just not something that I would do. But that's maybe just the man in me. I don't know. But Jeffrey definitely keep a close eye on Andre and how he keeps his word, how he's true to his word. Okay, so Fabrice, you know, the more and more he talks, I'm getting the thought that he's just trying to woo women with his accent, his voice, his excursions. You know, he reminds me of, I think his name was Adam from Love is Blind, you know, trying to tell all the things you've done, that your experiences you had, and thinking that women can be a part of that. So what he's hoping for is by telling you these stories that you can see yourself in these places. Oh, I've been to Paris. I've been here. I've been there. I've been to Australia. And women listen to that. And sometimes you can visualize yourself being there. And that's what he's anticipating. He wants you to feel like you're going to go all these places with him and woo you in with that. So for me, I think Fabrice is a walking red flag. He's too old to have the behavior that he's having right now. And I think that it's going to show out. Pretty much, I think it's going to be next week. Fabrice is my selection to be going home. It's been a good week, bro. But peace. All right, so next we have Cynthia coming in with all the guys, right? She has to meet all the guys, talk to all the guys. That can be a very intimidating situation for a woman to be the only woman that's surrounded by guys. Some women there may not be, but in this situation, I like the way Cynthia handled herself. I like the way she answered those questions. So she was asked about, are there any men here that is your type? And she said, I don't have a type. She said, I understand that there's something to be gained from everyone. You can't just go off of looks, just first sight of what people look like. You have to really get to know them. I love this answer. However, in the second breath, she started listing out all these physical things that she likes about a man. So where I thought she was going to give some depth into like what she really looked for in a man, like character-wise, she didn't do that. She kept it about the physical look. So to me, that was a little disappointing. And in those situations, when you can't back up your original statement with a fact or a described thought, then to me, it seemed like it's made up. It seems like it's something to say just to stand out. And if that was her case, this she's trying to do, she succeeded in that way because the men ate that up, especially Andre. All right, so next up we have Jonique to come in and sit with the guys as well to interact. And she was asked, have you ever dated an ugly guy? And she says that the guys she's dated are not ugly to her, but they would be ugly to other people. Let's be real, okay? She talked about, having someone, dating someone, and you start to see the little ugly things about them, or you start to see the good things about them within the ugly, or something like that, she said. And to me, let's be real, you look past the ugly. A lot of women do it, more than you guys care to share. But I know I've had several dozen conversations with women that say that they have dated dudes that they found unattractive. A lot of women will look past the outer appearance to find a guy with great character. So this does exist. So all she had to say was, yes, I've dated ugly guys, but I look past the ugly. I find something about the person that I can connect with, and I move forward from there. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so up next, Andre asked Cynthia if she can handle an alpha male. Now, this is the second time this question's been asked on this season already. It's only on episode 2. Why do these questions keep happening? I don't understand it. Okay, alpha men, if a woman can't handle you, she just can't handle you. So why is it that you're telling a woman or asking a woman if she can handle an alpha male? Or you just want to let her know that you're an alpha male? And a lot of men throw these words around and not understand what an alpha male is. Andre is definitely not an alpha male. I'm telling you for facts. So I'm trying to understand why are you asking this question, Andre? Where you want you asking for somebody else? You asking for a friend? I don't get it. So to me, I think Andre is out of pocket asking this question. I don't like the question in general, but for you, sir, you're definitely not an alpha male. The way you present yourself, the way you talk to the ladies, you do not distribute attributes of an alpha male. Okay, now Cynthia's also asked if she can submit. Is she a woman who can submit? And her answer to this was also a good answer. She said that every woman can submit. But see, this is the thing. I agree. Every woman can submit. It just takes the energy for the man to dig deeper into that woman to find out what makes her tick or what makes her want to submit to you as the man. You don't try to discover that because you think it's supposed to automatically happen. That's not the case. A woman is not going to press a button and automatically submit to you. You have to give her a reason to trust you in that way. So the question about submission, I love her answer for it. What we have to understand also is that, it's not a one-way street when it comes to submission. For a man to submit to a woman is as much as important as it is for a woman to submit to a man. So fellas, you have to be able to put that hat on too. It's never a one-way street. In mostly like 90% of the relationship is never going to be one way. So you got to be able to do that as well. All right, so next up we had Tony meeting up with Marcia. Now, this interaction seemed like it was a cool interaction, no doubt. But what threw me off is that Marcia was kind of pouring into the conversation. And her conversation was actually about pouring into people and how people was pouring into her. And it seemed to me, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that as if Tony interrupted her in what she was saying to pray over the food. So it's nothing wrong with a praying man. You know what I'm saying? I know women love a man who can pray, and it is very important that he has a faith. So I get that. But what I'm curious about here in this interaction is that it was ill-timed. Like, hear her out, have the discussion. Okay, we know the food is here. It's going to get cold, but let her finish her statement. Let her finish her thought, and then go into the praying over the food. Now, if I got that wrong, my mistake, but it did seem like he cut her off doing that. So the praying. Now, I think it's cool that he prayed. I think it's good for any woman to watch a man when he's praying or listen to a man when he's praying and see if he knows what he's doing. Like a guy who can pray and has a relationship with God is very, very important. I think Tony did a good job here. You know what I'm saying? I don't judge a man's prayer, but I think in the eyes of a woman who has a man who can pray with her is going to be happy about that. You're right. And vice versa, a man who he can pray for a woman, have a woman pray for him, that's also great to have. And a lot of that's missed when it comes to relationships, but you have to have that relationship, that faith-based relationship with each other and then individually. So good take on that one, bro. All right, so next up we have Z going out on a date with Blake. Now, I don't know whose idea this was to put these two together. Z, I don't know what you were thinking. You were at the bottom last week. He was at the bottom last week. Why are you guys not focused on other people? I don't get it. But Blake starts asking the questions. He's wanting to get to pull more out of Z. and he's asking, what makes you you. I think Blake's questions are legitimate questions to ask a partner. Ask someone you're trying to get to know, but I think his questions are just ill placed. They're consecutive. They're back to back to back, and that's what makes it feel like an interrogation. So, fellas, if you're out with a woman, you're going on dates with a woman, you should have your serious questions ready to go, but you will only bring up the questions when the regular conversation is dying out. When you guys are starting to not have much to talk about here, not have much to talk about there, then you can throw out one of those as a zinger. Because if it's an important question, you're going to always be able to keep that conversation going, but only use it when you need to. So, for example, if you're going out on a date and the conversation starts to get low, then hit her with the, okay, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Whatever the question is that you may have that's important to you as far as what you look for in a woman, you can ask that question then. Next date, a whole different situation. You can ask another one until you get those questions answered that are near and dear important to you. And the more and more dates you go on, the more and more you're going to get that interest in her. If she answers the questions right to your liking on the first date, there'll be a second, and then there'll be a third. So every time you're growing with that person. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But Blake, you're doing too much by asking those rapid fire questions like that. Before I move any further, man, you guys see what I'm doing. You guys hear what I'm talking about. If you like the content so far, hit the like button, subscribe to your boy's channel, man. Let's get this thing going. I gotta get to where I gotta get, and I need you guys to do it. So hop on in there, comment, like, subscribe. All right, so next up, Fabrice and Marc Anthony meet with the ladies, much the same way that Cynthia and Jonique did. So Fabrice comes in, doing a little extra as he always does. Then you have Marc Anthony comes in, and then he just stands there and poses. I don't understand, bro. Have a seat. Have several of them if you don't mind. But he stands there for a minute, making it almost awkward. Like, look at me. look, I'm blessing you with my presence right now. You should be in awe. That's the vibe he was giving. So, the ladies was oohing and awing over him. It's not a problem with that. If he's a good looking guy to you guys, you do what you do. So he sits down, then it's a conversation that happens with Fabrice talking about sex and going to Paris and doing this. Like, Fabrice is doing a lot right now. He's too old. I am in agreement with Jeffrey. He's too old to have this type of behavior, and he's too forward with his sexual history. Like, he's telling about all the sex he's had, all the women he's had, what that gives a woman, ladies. What it gives a woman, men, is that it tells that you do not, it's given a lifestyle that's not easy to walk away from, okay? So if you're giving her all this lavish lifestyle that you have, she knows it and you know it, that's not easy to walk away from. So you have a woman that's in front of you that's about commitment, about being one-on-one, and you tell her these stories about you, living your best life. What is she going to think? Oh, you're going to change overnight? You're going to change for me? You don't even know me yet. Why are you going to change for me? So you got to make sure that you align yourself with conversations that are going to add value to the conversation. There's a lot of men out there, I said this in the last video, that do not know how to talk to women. This right here, his conversation is proof that he does not know how to talk to women, that he's a gimmick type of man who is trying to work a gimmick on women to get their approval, trying to work a gimmick on women to get closer to them. So these are the type of men you really have to look out for, ladies, because he ain't no good. And then Mercedes has the nerve to be in awe with his accent and everything. And the thing about it, ladies, is that you miss a lot of clarity, a lot about a man's character when you see that outer appearance. When you listen to things like, his voice, is how he sounds, and this, that, focus on the internal as well. He can have a nice voice, he can have a nice accent, and have a nice sound. You also have to focus on who that man is. All right, so now the guys meet up with Tommy, and then Tommy, asks them, how do you guys feel about the new girls? They give their description of what they feel and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Then Tommy hits them with a zinger and lets them know that they have an opportunity to save a woman once this season. And I want you guys to tell me how you feel about that. How do you feel about, the whole saving option? I don't have a problem with it personally. I just feel that it's going to be hard to get that unanimous vote for this save. That's the problem for me. I think if it was a majority vote thing, okay, cool. But they're unanimous, they won't be using it this season. But I'm kidding. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll see. So Corvea meets with Lyndon for elimination, right? So I'm finally understanding what it is for Corvea. It's really about the bag. It's really about the money, because she let it out that pretty much she feels a roommate is someone who cannot afford her. And this is a misconception. I think a lot of ladies do have that a man who cuts corners in spending in certain ways means that he's a broke man or that he's counting his coins. It's nothing wrong with that. So a man who has an old car that doesn't have a car note, a man who lives in an apartment instead of a house, you look at these as a sign of a man not having money, but in actuality, it means he's had more money saved to spend on you or to spend on trips or dates or what have you. So this is a different way of looking at things. Okay, you don't like the car he's in because it's old. That's very material. So again, think about the character of a man, not so much as what finances he has and how those finances what they can do for you. It's supposed to be a back and forth thing. When a relationship, remember, it's never one-sided. So she never mentioned anything about spoiling her man. She just mentioned about her being spoiled. So it's very one-sided. So Corvea, not a fan. And then we have Z meeting with Blake again. What I don't understand here is, why is it that they're pairing these people with the people that they like the least? Lyndon with Corvea and then Z with Blake. It just didn't make sense to me. So of course we all know Blake got eliminated, but what's going on with Blake and her singing? What's up with that? That's a bit much. So you guys, if you like the content that I provided for you today, please remember to hit the submit button, hit the subscribe button. That's the word. Hit the subscribe button for me and hit the like, and then comment something down below. Show your boy some love. As always, it's always real. And see you guys next week. It's your boy Black. Peace.